This is the new top 5 best class setups in Black Ops 6 after the update. These are all easy to use. You can use them all in competitive except the XM4, unfortunately. And I'm just saying these guys have basically no recoil. So we're going to start with the XM4 because it honestly is one of the easiest builds to make and it's one of the first weapons you unlock. We're going to start out with the Merlin Mini. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. You can just use an iron sight. But out of all of these, I've noticed the Merlin Mini is the most accurate and gets the job done the best. Next, we're going to move on to the Compensator. This gives the least amount of recoil. If you want to use the ported compensator, I think that's fine, but I think the compensator is actually the best choice. If you want to stay off the minimap, you can just use suppressor, but the compensator gives 0 recoil. Next, we're going to put on the reinforced barrel. This thing is the mix of both the gain twist and the long barrel. If you're focusing on one or the other, completely fine, but the reinforced is a combination of the two. Next is the vertical foregrip. This is honestly the best underbarrel. I would use this on literally every gun. This is unmatched. But next, we're going to put on the extended mag 2 for 60 round mag. And now if you don't want any cons, you can put on the 45 round mag, which is extended mag 1. Completely up to you. I don't recommend fast mag though. After that, we're going quick draw grip. This is one of the situations where I don't really recommend commando grip. I think that quick draw grip is more in tune for ARs. Then we're going with the light stock for hip fire movement speed, and strafing movement speed. If you don't care too much about this, you can use a balanced stock. And this will actually include strafing movement speed, aim walking movement speed. Combat stock is more so competitive for aim walking speed and flinch resistance, but I like light stock. I think it gets the job done best for me. And then finally, I put on the recoil springs, and this basically maxes out the no recoil aspect of the gun. Just to show you guys how amazing this is, it really doesn't take much effort to actually use this weapon. The thing really does not move, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, say for example, you do not have Gunfighter, because you do need Gunfighter to actually use this class setup. If you don't have Gunfighter, what you're going to do is you're going to take these off and we're going to start all over. So we're going to start out, well, for example, say you don't have the optic, right? I'll make it even easier. Start out with the compensator or suppressor, whichever one you want. I'll put compensator. Then we're going to put on the reinforced barrel. For the underbarrel, we're going to put a vertical foregrip. Magazine extended mag 1 or 2. I chose 2. For the rear grip, quick draw grip. And now you can choose between the stock and the fire mod. It doesn't really matter, whichever one you want to. We'll say, just for the heck of it, we'll do balanced stock. And those will be the 5 attachments you throw on there. You still have very little recoil, like basically no recoil. Even without recoil springs, this thing is still pretty amazing, as you guys see. And this will be what you use for the XM4. Now, PP919. This is something that you're going to see a lot of in game. I think a lot of sweats are going to use this. This is actually one of the best SMGs in the game. First thing we're going to put on is the suppressor. It keeps you off the mini map. Now, if you don't care about the suppressor, just throw on the compensator or ported compensator. Really, either one doesn't matter. I would recommend compensator though overall. But suppressor, just stay off the mini map because I already think this doesn't have much recoil as it is. Then I put on the long barrel. This is one of those situations where I don't care too much about the reinforced barrel. I think the long barrel is actually way better in this scenario. But if you want to use the reinforced, completely up to you. Magazine, if you were to have Gunfighter, I would really only recommend maybe fast mag, but I don't think that it actually needs a magazine. Completely up to you if you do want one, but I just don't see this needing a magazine. So whichever you want to do, completely up to you. I chose quick draw grip. I think this is actually pretty nice for this weapon. I usually use commando grip for SMGs, but because of the way this is built, I chose not to have commando grip and chose quick draw. Next, I chose no stock for hip fire movement speed, and strafing movement speed. This is actually kind of ridiculous for this weapon. But if you're somebody that wants more balance, balance stock is actually good for you. I mean, it basically covers absolutely everything. Combat stock, I don't think this is necessary unless you're playing competitive. Next, we're going with the rapid fire. This thing is incredible with rapid fire and actually doesn't hurt it as much as you would think. Plus, the recoil negatives don't really even show up with this SMG. It's just there's no recoil in this SMG in general. If you wanted to put a laser on, I mean, maybe steady aim or fast motion laser. I don't really think there's anything else. Maybe target laser, but I don't really recommend it. This thing is just absolutely busted. I think it's one of the best SMGs to actually have just, what's it called? The perk read. As you guys see, I have this diamond. I actually really love this SMG. So if you guys are using SMG and you want to try this out, this is the one for you. But say the PP919 is not the one for you, the KSV is also pretty amazing. So the KSV, I would say, is actually technically one of the best SMGs in the game right now. We're going to start out with the suppressor to keep you off the minimap. If you don't care too much about it, use a compensator. But I've noticed suppressor actually helps a whole lot more. I've gotten way more accurate with the suppressor than the compensator, which is kind of odd. Maybe it's because of the muzzle flash or whatever, I don't know, but suppressor is just way better. Next, I chose the long barrel. I didn't care too much for the reinforced barrel. I think the long barrel is a lot better for this SMG in general. If you want to use the reinforced, be my guest, but I think the long barrel will be more beneficial for you. Next, we went the vertical foregrip. The vertical foregrip, like I said, is the best for every single weapon. Now, if you want to use the Ranger foregrip, completely fine. You'll get more sprinting movement speed, but I like the vertical foregrip. I think it gets the job done better for me. Then I went with the extended mag 1. There's no cons other than reload quickness, which does not matter. I don't think that this needs extended mag 2. This is a fast SMG, but I don't think it needs extended mag 2. So extended mag 1 is really the ideal choice. And then the commando grip for aim down, sight speed, sprint to fire speed. Combination of the two, I just like it overall with this one. Now, for the stock, if you were to use a stock, I would go with either no stock, balanced stock, or combat stock, depending on how you're playing. If you're playing competitive or if you're playing casual, this is the one that I use, no stock, if I were to actually play in the game. Laser, I don't think that's necessary. If you are using a fire mod, recoil springs will be the move, but I just don't think it's necessary. As you guys see, this thing kills incredibly fast. It really gets the job done. So this is something that I highly recommend. If you're not using it, give it a try. You're going to see just how dangerous this is in game. People watch my gameplay and they're surprised that the KSV kills this fast. But say the KSV isn't for you. The Jackal PDW. This is like the main SMG you're going to see in competitive. And this is a fantastic build I actually have for public match. And I'll give you some variation for private match as well. But for public match, I threw on suppressor. If you want to use compensator, completely fine. But I think suppressor is the better option. After that, I went long barrel for the damage range. If you want to have reinforced barrel, completely fine. But I just think the long barrel is more beneficial for this weapon. Next, I put on the Ranger foregrip. If you want vertical foregrip, cool. But this is more beneficial for me because I can rush around a little bit better. Next, I put on the extended mag 1. I don't feel the need to put on anything else. Extended mag 2 is kind of unnecessary. Plus, it doesn't really look as good to me, in my opinion. I'm not really an aesthetic person, but it just doesn't look as good. I don't know. That's just me. I chose commando grip for aim down, sight speed, and sprint to fire speed. If you want aim down, sight speed priority, then you can just have a quick draw grip. I don't really think assault grip is necessary. So commando or quick draw grip. Next, the no stock, which is absolutely amazing. If you want competitive combat stock, if you want a balanced stock. And then we went with recoil springs. This is actually pretty good. If you want a laser, once again, steady aim laser, fast motion laser, and we go into the firing range. Just show off how amazing this is. It really takes no effort to actually use this weapon. It's absolutely ridiculous to use. So if you have not tried this out, please seriously consider giving this, at least a game or two to see how you like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if you guys don't have gunfighter, you can take off recoil springs, and you can take off no stock if you want to. If you take these off, then you're still going to get a very similar result. I mean, it's still pretty amazing. It still basically has no recoil. In fact, you might find more benefit having more perks than you do attachments. So this is what I would suggest if you don't have gunfighter. Throw this class up around right here and you'll pop off. But if you're not interested in the Jackal PDW, even though the ARs got nerfed, I think the AS Val is still the best AR in the game. So here is the best class up for it. Make sure you guys are using perk greed. This is just my personal preference. You're going to throw on the suppressed reinforced barrel because it's the combination of the suppressed gain twist and long barrel all together in one. This is honestly the best choice. Next, we're going to go with the vertical foregrip for the horizontal recoil. I think this is pretty amazing. I don't really recommend a Ranger foregrip for this one, but if you want to use it, completely up to you. It's just you're going to be using it more so like a SMG. Next, we're using extended mag 2. Now, if you want to use extended mag 1 or 3, you can. I just feel like extended mag 2 is the perfect mix. Plus, I don't think flip mag is necessary. We went with no stock. I usually, if I'm being honest with you, go commando grip or quick draw grip, but no stock has seemed to be very, very useful. If you don't care about no stock, you can go balance stock or combat stock, completely up to you. But then we went with recoil springs, and this is absolutely busted. Do not use rapid fire. This is unnecessary for the AS Val. Use the recoil springs, and you'll do a whole lot better. So when we go into the firing range, this thing is still absolutely busted. I think it's an amazing weapon. It takes no effort to use. And honestly, you can still hit super long range distance gunfights. I just highly recommend this build right here. If you want the best bang for your buck, this is the one for you.